And Trump's more ahead than he's ever been. Fewer people think January 6th was any kind of what it was, is an assault on the temple of democracy, the Constitution. I don't know what the fuck you want to say. It's going the wrong way. It's not working. Everything that we're throwing is spaghetti at a wall, and none of it is sticking, me included.
Oh, poor James Carville. What is he so upset about? Why is he so frustrated that, as he stated, Trump is more ahead than he's ever been? Well, there's a very real mechanism behind it. Don't think for a moment that, by the way, they're going to continue forward with Biden, because with what just happened, we're going to cover a fraction of it today. It's not if, it's when they're going to replace Biden. The Democrats now have no choice. But let's listen to what else James Carville had to say.
You can write pieces, you can have a YouTube channel, you can have a podcast, and nothing. And, you know, we got to try to think of something different, because what we're doing is really, really not working.
You just figured that out now? What you've been doing has been backfiring on you epically. America, it takes a lot to wake them up, but you have done everything in your power to assure you've woken them up entirely.
Well, I think this whole thing is helping him enormously, man. I feel very badly for President Trump that he has to go through this, but politically, it's political gold for him. First of all, it's creating sympathy for him. I mean, he's facing 91 charges at the federal, state, and local level. Charles Manson faced 10. The polls show, our polls show, that people think this is unfair, and so it's creating sympathy for Donald Trump.
It's creating sympathy. Something they never expected to happen with everything that happened at J6. Why are people turning against us? Why are independent voters calling Biden a bigger threat to democracy than Trump? How is this possible? There was a New York Times Siena poll that just came out. They asked, has Donald Trump ever said anything to offend you? 6 in 10 Americans said either no or not recently. And among 18 to 29-year-olds, 77% said either no, never, or not recently. I mean, that just destroys the entire Biden campaign strategy. This is political apocalypse happening before your very eyes. The whole strategy was Donald Trump is so offensive, we can't let him back in the White House. But nobody finds him offensive. Well, of course, except for the Democrats. But that's just a fraction, because Jack Smith put the icing on the cake. It's the end game. Game over. Do you know that what they charged J6ers with, he is now guilty of doing himself? That's the story we're going to bring to you right when we get through so many other moving parts to tell you the end. And again, it's not if, it's when they're going to have to replace Biden. That's the story we're going to bring you here in just a minute. Into the video, just a quick word from our sponsor. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to go to lisahavengold.com. That's Noble Gold Investments, amazing sponsor of Lisa's for many, many years. Did you know that gold has gone up more than 81% in the last 5 years? It's happening. Central banks are ditching $1 and the U.S. Treasury are buying more gold. The good news, it is predicted to go up even more. UBS even said it would go up to $5,000, and Noble Gold Investments' phone has been ringing non-stop. These guys are amazing. Everyone wants to protect their retirement with gold, and now you can do the same. And if you do it this month, if you get to lisahavengold.com this month, how about today? Noble Gold Investments will give you a free, you want to see it? 1/4 ounce gold standard coin if you open a qualified account. Just go to, again, www.lisahavengold.com or call 1-877-646-5347. So if you want more information, Just click in the description box below. More information to get to Noble Gold. Again, that's lisahavengold.com. Noble Gold, amazing sponsor, amazing company. Get there right now. So where were we before I left you? We were in the midst of all the lawfare that's backfiring on the Democrats and the Biden administration so brilliantly. Michael Cohen set to testify shortly. I know many of you know my opinion on Michael Cohen, which is I'm not going to waste a breath talking about Michael Cohen. He has proven to be time and time again a serial liar. Here he is telling his TikTok viewers where to buy his t-shirt of Donald Trump in jail, the Superman t-shirt wearing Michael Cohen himself. You should take, if that's what they're resting their case on, the case is all but done. Of course, that's only if we had ethical judges presiding over those cases. But you see, ethics has kind of flown out the window here. It's been one operation and one operation only, and now it's gone Democrat desperation because everything they've tried has backfired. California now announcing their attorney general on plans how to thwart Trump with lawsuits. Like he doesn't have enough if he wins another term. Seriously. This is what is being planned. This is on the LA Times themselves. And then even Rolling Stone tries to chirp in. They try to take a shot at the president. Trump is planning to send kill teams to Mexico to take out cartel leaders. And they were expecting the people would go crazy over it. But everybody's like, yeah, we do need to get control of this. Another backfire. It's not even that hard to follow, though. Trump has talked about this for years. Listen in here for just one moment.
In addition to restoring strong border security, I will deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, to impose the full naval embargo on the cartels.
You see, just study your history, but unfortunately, journalism is a dying art. And they don't do that anymore. They don't remember the past where he's already announced this and it's not really news. So what should we do then? We should do what we did back then if we were the Democrats. And, well, we should make sure that Bannon and every cohort of Trump is in jail. And what happens? Federal Appeals Court upholds Bannon's contempt conviction. He now faces a 4-month prison sentence because that's going to help your cause, said no one ever. So what should we do then? We should get Hillary Clinton back on the air because that's most certainly who's going to change the mind of voters. And here's what she had to say, at least a part of it. Now, everybody just sit back. I know it's hard to stomach this, but unfortunately, always study the opposite side.
A better job of making it absolutely clear that someone who says these things, maybe he wouldn't jail all of his political opponents. One is one too many. Maybe he wouldn't try to force out of business the members of the press who didn't agree with him. One is one too many. We go down the line.
We should go down the line. You see what she did there? Trump's going to jail his opposition. He's going to put his opposition out of business. Never mind the fact of the trial that was designed to put him out of business. Let's just skip that. But Hillary gets far worse. Hillary does it again. Just listen here for 1 second.
The world has been here before. People did not take the kind of threats that we saw in the 1930s as seriously as they should, including American journalists. People.
Who is she talking about there? Do you know? That's right. She's drawing that comparison between Trump and Hitler. Again, this isn't helping their case. So they go a step further. So far the lawfare, not helping their case. More lawfare threats, not helping their case. Ethics, not helping their case. Hillary Clinton, not helping their case. So how can I make it even worse if I was a Democrat? Interesting question, huh? Colin all red right there. Running against Senator Ted Cruz. And what's he going to do? He attends an event where illegal immigrants were informed on how to evade law enforcement. Someone running for the Senate is teaching people how to disobey the law. Representative Colin Allred, Democrat out of Texas, the nominee in the Texas Senate race, attended a campaign-related event that handed out cards with instructions to help illegal immigrants evade law enforcement and potential deportation. Now, he does realize that the majority of American public are not standing on that side anymore. But they don't care. They're in a panic. They're staring in the face of an absolute political apocalypse. So what can they do to make it even worse? House Democrats just voted unanimously to give illegal representation in Congress and the Electoral College. They want to take all these folks here illegally. They want to count them in the census so they get more seats in the House. Seriously. They don't even need them to vote at this point. Just by the mere mass of the new population through a census, we'll pick up more seats in traditionally Democratic strongholds. More seats will assure that we never lose power. And you think the American people are going to buy into this and think this is a good idea, but they're not stopping. Maybe they'll go for equality, equity. Just teasing. There's nothing equal in this scenario. January 6th arrests running at nearly double the rate of 2023 and 2022. No, they're picking up the pace on those arrests of those J6ers. So we should probably not do anything that would demonstrate without a shadow of a doubt that on the opposite side, we're doing the exact opposite. Like dropping the charges against the 200 migrants who stormed the El Paso border. That's right, the judge dropped all charges. Picking up the pace of J6 arrest, releasing and not charging the 200 people that rushed the border and assaulted our troops. And that's going to make things better. You see why they're imploding? But to make the saga even worse, now the FBI gets a little bit more egg on their face. I told you, there is so much to cover to happen in 24 hours. FBI officials were told to stand down the day before January 6th. Here it is. Newly released FBI records indicate an email thread where the subject line, stand down, see below, the day before January 6th. The vast majority of this email thread is redacted, so it's unclear what the stand down order was in relation to, but I guess one could only assume. We are standing down in blank. The predicted subjects have been spooked. Someone is being informed. The only people from the group who are continuing to DC are non-subjects who are not carrying weapons and appear to be solely involved in legal First Amendment protesting. Wow, that's from the FBI. Stand down, see below. But they let the date slip out the day before January 6th. But don't look at there. Don't look at a bouncing ball. So the Democrats must have at least one bastion of hope, which would be other Democrats, right? Not so fast. We haven't even made it to Jack Smith yet. The DNC is preparing for the worst in Chicago without the help of the city's mayor. As Democrats plan their convention, just know your history. You know what the concern is here. They have to address the elephant in the room, how to mitigate the threat of disruptions and work with a rookie mayor who is unabashedly sympathizes with the protesters, who has defunded the police. The police are in short supply. You're bringing in your convention, but you should show unity here. Everyone should have a big kumbaya. Look at us. We're together. Nope. What do the Democrats do? We're going to do the DNC, but we're afraid of our own voter base. The Democrats are afraid of other Democrats. It's not if, folks. It's when they replace Biden for the presidential nominee. I'll tell you that right now. There is so many signs happening right now. CNN turning their back on him. Politico turning their back on him. They realize this mess they can't dig out of. And we won't even go into international politics, which is demolished. I almost cursed there. I stopped myself. U.S. General Assembly votes to back Palestinian bid for membership, despite the protests from the U.S. and Israel. While the UN they don't care about Biden. They have zero respect for him. The only person that deserves some respect is the ambassador from Israel. And you know what he did with the UN Charter? This is genius. Listen in here.
I will hold up a mirror for you so that you can see exactly what you are inflicting upon the UN Charter with this destructive vote. You are shredding the UN Charter with your own hands.
What a powerful display of emotion. But who's allowed for all this? How is any of this happening? When Biden's waffling on support for Israel, did you expect a different reaction from Israel when the UN votes to push Palestine along? This is insanity. There's no hope. We can go through the articles of impeachment. We can go with the House battle on Mike Johnson. Honestly, these Republicans just really need to shut up at this point. They have everything they need. It's all right there. These little petty battles that they're entrenched in is taking away from the issues that the American people want to hear. And there's plenty of issues. There's plenty of legitimate issues. Alvin Bragg. Records were deleted. Did you know that? No, either did the Trump team. Some call records were deleted from files. Paralegal now confirms that's a major issue. Georgia Appeals Court agrees to review ruling allowing Fannie Willis to stay in Trump election case. Big issue. Engoron is now under investigation. And why? Because he took advice. He took advice from a lawyer who says they talked about the case before the verdict. Completely illegal. That's a real issue. Alvin Bragg being investigated. House Judiciary investigates Bragg prosecutor who held senior role in Biden Department of Justice. That's a real issue. You can't run from these. But lo and behold, who comes in and puts that final nail in the coffin? None other than Jack Smith himself, because what he did is the same thing that all those J6ers are being convicted of. Jack Smith has mishandled the very documents he has charged Trump with mishandling. Those documents. Oh my gosh, look at those cover pages. Who put those cover pages there? Is that how they appeared originally? Or is that something someone added? And where did those boxes come from? Are those ones that Trump requested or someone sent? And on top of all that, did someone rearrange evidence and then admit to it? Well, it got worse. I know we've covered a bit of this for you. Well, I'm pretty sure you never heard this part of the classified document box story. One of the things I want to talk about, if you remember sometime after the administration ended, the GSA had approximately 6 pallets of items, boxes, I believe, that were stored in Virginia, out of the control of Donald Trump, who did not request those boxes. And at some point, I guess there were maybe a time limit, I'm not entirely sure, they contacted the office of 45, Donald Trump, to inform them that, these got to go. Out of the control of Donald Trump. But those boxes end up at Mar-a-Lago. And it just so turns out that those boxes on those pallets were the ones that had the classified markings on them. What a coinky-dink. No, seriously, folks, you can't make this up. This is what is now coming out in the wash. Those pallets with those boxes that are located everywhere. I'm not going to say that the man is a very good organizer, because obviously there is crap everywhere. Not his strength. Just a busy man. Boxes float in. And when those many boxes float in, did you go through every single page in them to assure that there was no classified documents, especially when you had not requested that those boxes show up, but then shortly, almost immediately thereafter, the FBI shows up at your door? Excuse me, sir. We have an issue. We need to search your home. So in other words, the federal government potentially shipped boxes of classified information from government storage to Trump at Mar-a-Lago, then charged him for possessing it, and then rescinded his clearance after they charged him. That's what happened. And the Democrats wonder why they're looking at their political apocalypse right now. It is not if, it is when they have to remove Biden. And this man sealed his fate by doing exactly, New revelations in Florida documents trial put Trump on offensive against deranged special counsel. Now deranged Jack Smith has admitted in a filing in front of Judge Cannon to what I have been saying happened since the illegal raid on my home in Mar-a-Lago, that he and his team committed blatant evidence tampering by mishandling the very boxes they used as a pretext to bring this fake case. Those boxes that were shipped to Trump out of Virginia that he did not maintain control of nor request. It's that easy. It's that simple. But what did Jack Smith just do? U.S. 18 U.S. Code 1512, tampering with a witness, victim, or informant. It's got many sections to this law. Many sections, one of which they're using against the J6. Well, now many who have been indicted, thrown in jail. This evidence tampering that just happened, that Jack Smith admits to the judge in his filing, not something we're making up. He admitted to it. But while the Department of Justice is focusing everyone's attention on subsection 2 of that rule, they're ignoring subsection 1, which states whoever corruptly alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals a record, document, or other object, or attempts to do so with the intent to impair the object's integrity or availability for use in an official proceeding, which is exactly what Jack Smith just did. And it's even in the title of the code itself, tampering. Everybody's focused up here, but nobody ever goes down. See? Intimidation, threaten, corrupts, violates a proceeding, interrupts a proceeding. But way down here in Section C, alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals a record, document, or other object. And that's exactly what Jack Smith just admitted to doing, which should put him, by the admission, prosecutors admitted in a court filing on Friday, that there are some boxes that were an order of items within that box is not the same as the associated scans because, well, we realigned them. The prosecutors had previously told the court the documents were in their original intact form as seized. And as any litigator knows, by the way, I want to thank the American Thinker for this great write-up. Maintain documents in the order in which they were seized or produced is enormously important. That's because the order itself provides important information about the chronology of events and a person's intent or innocence. It's also of particular concern in the case because these documents were apparently packed by the GSA, General Services Administration, which then told Trump to pick them up. Trump did not request them. In addition, it's now beyond question that the DOJ doctored the crime scene photos it publicized. You remember, I showed you that photo before. Let me go back into it here for just a second. This photo, doctored, to publicize to the world and to prove that Donald Trump had allegedly violated national security laws. Thus, we have two known instances in which the Department of Justice altered records, documents, and objects. Moreover, the staged Mar-a-Lago photo indicates that this was done to harm President Trump. That strongly implies both corruption and intent, two elements of a criminal cause of action and a violation directly of Code 18 U.S. Code 1512, tampering with evidence. Jack Smith just did it, hit it out of the park, because that is the final nail that America simply will not stand for. And Jack Smith, man, if Biden could have picked somebody to do a better job of destroying his own run for president, I don't know if he could have picked a better person than Merrick Garland and Jack Smith. Way to go, boys. Way to go. And heck, you didn't even cover your tracks that well, now did you? But when you're that blinded with hate for someone, you'll make mistakes. It's only a matter of time until America finds out about it. And they just did. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.